So here's the thing. Samsung just made a move that might change the entire conversation around its fan edition phones. For years, the FE series has had this strange identity. Sometimes it felt like a budget flagship, sometimes like an overpriced mid-range, and honestly, a lot of fans weren't sure where it belonged. But with the Galaxy S25 FE, it feels like Samsung has finally cracked the formula, and the leaks we're seeing prove it. Welcome back, viewers. James here. If you love keeping up with these deep dives into the latest tech, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss out. Now, let's talk about why this phone might actually surprise you. The first detail that jumped out, the selfie camera. For years, Samsung gave its fan edition phones watered-down front cameras, while the premium models got all the love. Not anymore. The S25 FE gets the same 12-megapixel front camera as the S25 series. That might sound like a small jump on paper, but if you've ever compared selfies from older FE phones to flagships, you'll know it's a big deal. Sharper details, better low, light shots, more natural skin tones. This is finally a front camera fans can brag about. But let's get to something even crazier. The battery. The S24 FE came with a 4500 mAh cell, which was fine but nothing groundbreaking. The S25 F bumps that up to 4900 mAh, already impressive. But here's the part that made me double check the leak twice. The phone is actually lighter, about 20 grams lighter. That's like getting more fuel in your tank, but the car somehow weighs less. Usually, bigger batteries mean thicker, heavier devices. Here, Samsung managed to cut weight while boosting endurance. That tells me one thing. They've been working on material optimization behind the scenes, and this could hint at a new design approach we'll see carry forward to the Galaxy S26. Charging is another area where the FE lineup always lagged. 25 watts in 2020-24 felt painfully slow when rivals like OnePlus and Xiaomi were pushing 80, 100, even 120 watts. But now, Samsung finally makes the jump to 45 watts on the S25 FE, and while it's still not supercharging, by Chinese standards, it's a big leap for Samsung fans who were tired of watching their phones crawl from 0 to 100%. Realistically, you're looking at under an hour for a full charge, which is finally competitive. Now let's flip the phone over. On the back, we've got a triple camera setup that looks, well, surprisingly premium for a fan edition. A 50-megapixel OS main camera, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide, and an 8-megapixel telephoto with proper 3x optical zoom. This last one is important because most mid-range phones only fake zoom with digital cropping. Optical zoom means sharper shots, less noise, and actual flagship-like versatility. If Samsung nails the tuning here, the S25 FE might end up being one of the best camera phones in its price bracket. Powering it all is the Exynos 2400 chipset, which Samsung is really betting on this year. Now, let's be real. Exynos hasn't always had the best reputation. People still remember the overheating and throttling issues from past generations. But early benchmarks for the 2400 look promising, with efficiency improvements that could finally put it closer to Qualcomm's Snapdragon chips. Paired with up to 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage, this phone should feel snappy, especially running One UI 8 on top of Android 16. And then comes the game changer. Samsung is promising 7 years of major updates. That's the same promise Google made with its Pixel 10 series, and the same number Apple unofficially delivers with iPhones. Having that level of support in an FE device completely changes the value equation. And of course, the display, a 6.7-inch dynamic AMOLED TWX panel with a 120 Hz refresh rate. By now, Samsung's AMOLEDs are basically untouchable in terms of color accuracy, brightness, and smoothness. Add Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, Armor Aluminum, and full IP68 water resistance, and you've got a device that doesn't feel like a cheaper sibling. It feels like a flagship in disguise. The only catch, no charger in the box. But at this point, you probably expected that. Now, here's where things get interesting, the price. Leaks suggest around $789.99. That's not exactly cheap, but when you compare it to the Galaxy S25 or S25 FE, which costs significantly more, the FE suddenly looks like the smarter buy. Bigger battery, faster charging, years of updates, and cameras that hold their own. It's hard to argue against it if you're looking for value. And just when you think that's the headline, Samsung drops another curveball. The Galaxy Unpacked event is officially set for September 4th at IFA 2025 in Berlin. Livestream kicks off bright and early 5:30 a.m. Eastern. Now, I know that's brutal for US viewers, but trust me, this one might be worth setting an alarm for. Why? Because the S25 FE isn't going to be the only star of the show. Samsung is also expected to reveal the Galaxy Tab S11 series, and this could be the biggest iPad Pro challenger yet. Apple has dominated tablets for years with its insane M series chips and app ecosystem. But Samsung's counterattack is all about hardware and versatility. Their AMOLED displays are miles ahead in contrast and color. The S Pen is included out of the box, and DeX mode lets you treat the tablet like a mini PC. If last year's Tab S10 Ultra was any hint, the S11 is going to push even further with a bigger, sharper display and performance aimed directly at creators and professionals. And let's not forget, Unpacked events always hide a surprise or two. Maybe a new Galaxy Buds refresh, maybe AI features baked into One UI 8, maybe even ecosystem updates that tie your Galaxy phone, tablet, and watch together more seamlessly. Samsung isn't just selling devices anymore, they're building an ecosystem to rival Apple's, and every event feels like a step closer to that goal. So September 4th isn't just about one phone or one tablet. It's about Samsung proving it can deliver lighter, faster, smarter devices across the board while keeping fans locked into its Galaxy world. Between the S25 FE and the Tab S11, this event could set the tone for the holiday season and even influence how Samsung positions itself against Apple in 2026. The countdown has begun, and if these leaks are accurate, this could be one of Samsung's most important launches in years.